everyone. I am the, I guess, proud owner of a 2021 Tesla Model Y. And I shared sort of a walkthrough, some of the things I liked about it back when I first got it, late September, I think early October. I may have shared that video. If you missed it, I'll pop it up there and down in the description box. Now that I have had it a good 6 months and gotten used to it and become much more familiar with it, I thought I would do a 6-month update, give you the pros and the cons and whether or not I would actually repurchase it. So like I said, I have a 2021 Tesla Model Y. I have the performance model, and I originally chose that primarily because it was the only thing available. I don't know if you've noticed, there's a bit of a shortage on lots of things, including new cars. At the time, my lease was ending on my Jaguar F-Pace. It's a smaller kind of crossover SUV, and I wanted to replace it with a similar size model. There was a long wait for all the other things I was looking for. And as sort of like a joke, we stopped by the Tesla showroom and they said I could have one in 6 weeks. So that kind of did it for me. The price range was what I was looking for. It had all the features and then some that I was looking for. We decided to go ahead and lease this one as well. So I have a 3-year lease on the Tesla. And it actually came in 2 weeks straight from their Gigafactory in Austin. I am in San Antonio, so that may have had something to do with it. So here we go. Let's start with the positive. And first of all, number one, for sure, best part about a Tesla, it's really fun to drive. It might not be the prettiest car I've ever seen. When I look at it, it doesn't scream luxury sports car to me, especially because the Model Y is not. But that sucker is fast. It goes 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. I'll leave the technical specs to the technical people, but it goes really fast. And so right off the line, like when you're leaving the stoplight, it'll throw you back in your seat. Or when you're getting on the on-ramp to the freeway, you are there and merging in traffic like that. I'm not much of a speeder, so once I reach the speed limit, I'm happy to cruise along. That is slightly a con as well though, because it goes so fast, so quickly, and so quietly, you will find yourself going 90 miles an hour down the highway if you are not careful. So definitely, if you have a heavy foot, be aware of that. So number one, for sure, it is fun to drive. Number two, if you like gadgets and you like all the new kind of tech things, you cannot beat a Tesla. This thing is a moving gadget. It is a old school nerd's heaven. And I love gadgets as much as the next person. And so, yeah, it's fun. Like when they did the holiday update and you could have your car, it does this sort of dance. The lights go on and off in time to, I think it's Carol of the Bells, and the windows go up and down. My tailgate went up and down. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It does all kinds of fun things. So many people have gone over all the gadgets. I think it's pretty well known. So, you know, if you're going to invest in a vehicle that you're gonna spend a lot of time in, why not have fun with all the things that it can do? And the number 3 pro and the most timely positive for right now is, yes, I enjoy driving past the gas station and sort of being like, haha, I don't have to stop and fill up my gas. This was not the reason behind me purchasing this car. I did not purchase a Tesla for the environment. I did not purchase a Tesla to save on gas money. Like I said, it was more of, it was available, it ticked all the boxes for me, it was the right size, price point, that sort of thing. That being said, especially now as I'm filming this, the average price of premium gas in Texas is about $4.50. It is nice not to have to pay for gas. I have not noticed any significant increase in my utility bill. Maybe it's $1 or $2 more a month. It's hard to say because our weather's been kind of all over the place the last 6 months, but it's a negligible difference, if any, in my monthly electric bill. So essentially, I'm not really paying, I mean, I assume I am, but I'm really not paying for anything. I don't take this car on long distance trips, so I've never had to really stop and use a supercharger. So that would be the only time you have to pay for, I don't want to call it gas, power. So for me, after the initial investment of signing the lease and paying for the charger unit for my house and then paying for it to be installed, there's really no money being exchanged to turn the thing on. But that leads me to the cons. Number one, when I first shared that I was getting a Tesla, so many people contacted me and said, be aware of range anxiety. And I just sort of like scoffed. Oh, range anxiety. My car can go for 304 miles. Range anxiety is a real thing. It is something I think about constantly. Like I said, I don't travel long distance in my car. Whenever we go on road trips, even pre-Tesla, we would rent a car for a whole lot of reasons that I'm not going to go into here. But especially because we lease our car, at least my car we lease, we don't like to put extra miles on it. That's one big reason. Anyway, even so, we do like to kind of drive around. I'm in San Antonio on the north side. We like to do day trips up in the hill country, drive up to Austin, go see a concert up there. And we have found that even though it says the car is good for 304 miles, that's not always the case. And all of a sudden you are getting the red light that you have less than 20% on your battery and you're not all the way home. So I don't like that. I don't like the unpredictability of how long the charge is going to last on a full tank, so to speak. I don't like that. If I'm taking the day to just drive around and see the sights in the hill country, I can't just pull into a gas station, take 10 minutes to fill up the tank and go. First of all, there are very few charging stations that are conveniently placed, especially in rural areas. And secondly, it doesn't take 15 minutes to fill up the tank. It could take an hour. So that, to me, that is a really big con. This car is great if you're just doing a quick little commute and back, or if you're primarily working from home. But if you're doing a decent amount of driving every day, that range anxiety is a real concern. Second big con is that it's really not as user-friendly as you would think it is. Yes, it has lots of fun gadgets, but basic controls like changing the temperature or the fan speed on the thermostat requires you to take your eyes off the road and punch at some screens. Unlike a normal car where you can like kind of reach over and turn something, it's not the same thing. There's no way to change the temperature or change the fan speed, for instance, or even turn on your windshield wipers without taking your eyes off the road and going through the screens and then making sure you're hitting it in the correct place. Changing the channel on the radio or whatever you're listening to for music is the same thing. Most of the interfacing that you have to do, unless it's a turn signal or switching gears, requires you to take your eyes off the road for longer than I am comfortable. So it's not as user-friendly as you would think. On top of that, they do software updates all the time. So just when you become familiar with where everything is on the main screen, they'll change it. It's like getting a new update on your phone, but they've rearranged everything on your phone. Just think of it like that. So to me, that is a really big con. And then a third con is that apparently Tesla does not play well with others. So on the Model Y, you cannot get Sirius, and I have been a Sirius subscriber for years. Now I can play it on my phone and Bluetooth it through the car, but it doesn't have Apple CarPlay either. So I know, again, beyond first world, like this is a negligible issue, but if I'm by myself in the car and I want to change the station or skip ahead to the next song, or change to a different podcast, I have to take my eyes off the road and pick up the phone. And you're not supposed to be doing that. And even if it isn't illegal, you shouldn't be doing that. That's distracted driving. So I know Sirius is available, I think or I'm fairly certain it's available on the Model X, but I don't have a Model X. So the fact that it doesn't have Apple CarPlay and that it doesn't have Sirius for me is annoying. And then the last con. It's an expensive car. And that's the price point. I'm not talking about the sticker price. I mean, that going in. It is what it is. Either it's in your budget or it's not. But on top of that, if you want the at-home charger station, which I cannot imagine not having it, because if you just plug it into a regular outlet, it's going to take you like 12 hours or more to get a full charge on your car. So we purchased the charger unit for home. That's $500. And then, depending on your situation, it can cost quite a bit of money to install it. In our case, I believe it was about $3,000 to install the charger because it required our main electric utility box to be upgraded. We had to change that out. We had to trench a wire to our detached garage. There was a whole thing. We had to have the city come out. That part was free, but 6 months later, our house got red tagged because it hadn't been fully inspected yet. Again, it doesn't cost us any money, but lots of hassles. So it was about $3,500 to put the charger in. And when you start thinking about the life of the car versus how much you're investing. So I have a 3-year lease. Let's look at it like that. And I came from a Jaguar F-Pace. The Jaguar F-Pace has a tank capacity of 17.1 gallons, and it takes premium gas. And right now the average price of premium gas in Texas is $4.50. So I did some math. It's about $77 currently to fill up, if I have the Jaguar still, to fill up that car. And if you take the $3,500 investment that you had to do up front to install the charger and divide that by 77, that comes out to be about 45 tanks of gas. Now, I used to fill my car up about twice a month. I don't do a ton of driving. So that math would last me about 2 years of gas before I hit $3,500. So I'm saving about a year's worth of gas on the lease, which is not a small amount, but you have to remember when I bought this car, gas prices were about half of what they are now. So when you start looking at what a normal price of gas costs, it's not as cost effective. And also the difference is buying the car charger and having it installed was $3,500 up front versus $77 every couple of weeks over the course of 3 years. So when you do the math, you're really not saving a substantial amount of money going electric. That may change if gas prices don't change. If they continue to climb, then it may be more economical, but you're still having to buy a Tesla that is not economical. So there is that. So at the end of all this, would I repurchase the Tesla Model Y? No. I'm happy with it. It's fun. I have no intention of trying to get out of my lease early. I'll finish the lease. I like the concept. I just don't think the tech is there yet. Like I said, the interface is still not really intuitive and slightly dangerous, but more importantly, until they get the technology up to speed where you can pull into some sort of charging station and you can fill up your car in the same amount of time it would take you to fill up a tank of gas, at that point, I think electric cars are gonna be a great option. But until then, I am very glad that we are a 2-car family and that the other car is gas powered. If there's an emergency, if there's a power outage, if there's a freeze, if we have to go somewhere long distance in a hurry and I forgot to charge the car, I'm glad that we have the second option. I'd love to hear from you, any of the Tesla owners watching. If you have anything to add, I would love to hear from you. I haven't even touched on if you don't live in a standalone home, if you're an apartment or city dweller, how difficult that might be. I can only imagine if you don't actually have a car charging unit in your residence, what that's like. But I think it's important that you are aware of all of these things before you buy a Tesla or any electric car for that matter. Hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think. This is a departure from my usual beauty and fashion if you're a regular viewer. If you're not a regular viewer and you are interested in more beauty and fashion, please be sure that you subscribe. I upload videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday, 6 a.m. Central. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope that was helpful. Hope to see you in the next one, and I'll see you then. Bye.